One of Lexington's most legendary residents, Belle Brezing operated her first brothel out of the Rowhouses at 304 North Upper from 1881 to 1883. This building narrowly escaped demolition in the 1990s through the joint efforts of the Bluegrass Trust and Transylvania University. The southernmost federal-style rowhouse, which was laid in Flemish and common bond, dates to 1815, when Taylor Samuel Owens purchased the land. A recent transplant from Philadelphia, Samuel periodically returned to that city to view the latest fashions and replicate them for Lexingtonians. He and his London-born wife, Isabella, welcomed their first child, Thomas, in 1815 as well. By 1833, Thomas had relocated with his mother to Natchez, where he established his own clothing store. In 1847, the Owens sold the house on Upper to Rebecca Kirby, who lived on the adjacent property to the north. The keeper of a house of ill fame, Kirby owned numerous parcels in the area and retained sole possession of them even during her marriage. She had attained notoriety in 1845 after killing a man by shooting him with a 6-barrel revolving pistol. After paying a hefty bail of $2,000, she was released from custody. It is unclear if the case was ever brought to trial. Either Kirby or the subsequent owner of the property, Francis Rust, likely attached 2 row houses to the north elevation of the original building around 1850. Born in 1860, Belle Brezing experienced a tumultuous childhood. By the age of 15, she was pregnant with one man's child and married to another. The likely father died under suspicious circumstances, while her husband soon left town. Seeking some stability, she famously began boarding with brothel keeper Jenny Hill, who was renting out Mary Todd Lincoln's old house. According to her biographer, prostitution had existed in Kentucky since pioneer days, but it was Belle Brezing who raised it to an art form. By his account, Belle soon outgrew Hill's establishment, and in 1881 rented at least one of the row houses on North Upper from saloon keeper Matthew McNamara for her own operation. 2 years later, she bought an Italianate building a few doors down on North Upper, which no longer exists. Interestingly, Jenny Hill then purchased the row houses after Belle vacated the premises, paying for them in 6 installments. By the 1990s, the row houses were in dilapidated condition. Transylvania purchased them, along with the Ruggles Sign Company building, and considered demolition to develop the block as a women's softball field. However, recent zoning rules had increased the setbacks for new construction, which would have impeded the creation of a regulation-sized field. William T. Young, who was chairman of the Transylvania Board of Trustees at the time, championed the conversion of the row houses into locker rooms and invited BGT to collaborate. One of our members, architect Steve Albert, served as consultant on the $700,000 project. The rehabilitation was an intensive one, requiring the demolition of compromised rear extensions, comprehensive mortar repointing, and a new roof. At the time, BGT received some pushback for supposedly attempting to preserve properties that have no reason to be preserved. But 30 years later, this building retains its integrity, evidences a rich social history, and continues to serve a functional purpose.